Is ready.
Ah, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Welcome to another exciting edition of the conversation. My name is Paa Kofi. Today I have the honor of interviewing one of the greatest radio persons Ghana has ever known. When I talk about his longevity in radio, most people would not understand. I like him to talk about himself. He's a self-made man. He's a radio person, a musical person, as a journalist, everything. Daddy B,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
How? Tell me about the days you used to write for Chronicle and others.
Okay, those are interesting days, So you're talking the mid 90s, And what I used to do was basically write largely on arts and culture, and then look at some lifestyle too. So I did a lot of interviews with some of the biggest names of the time, from Papa Yankson through what you call it, A.B. Crensil, Kojo Entry, most of them, and fortunately that was the era that hip life was also being birthed. So we had the opportunity of engaging the likes of Lord Kenya, Obrafour. I remember the day I interviewed Obrafour for for the Chronicle. We virtually spent the whole day together because I was then at Groove FM, so he came over to the station and then we went to a friend's place and, we had a good time. Tic Tac, Obuo, the current musical president, Reggie Rockstone. I even had the privilege of interviewing Reggie Rockstone's dad, Ricky Sentosay, the fashion.
Did you get a chance?
the famous patch jeans.
Yeah, man.
So those were interesting times.
How did you get into journalism? Did you stumble upon it? Is it what you wanted to do? Did it come by
Actually,
accident?
as a child, it was a dream to speak in the box. In those days, GBC was the only station. So growing up, I was fascinated by the likes of Joe Kofi, a big, Charlie Sam, Godwin Afenobo and Co. So it was an aspiration as a child. What brought me into journalism was a chance encounter with my high school maths teacher.
Maths?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd come back from Lagos. When we all returned and we had formed a farmers cooperative. So in those days there was the Food for Work program and there was that farming in Ghana. So if we weren't creative on how to survive. So as young people, the National Mobilization Organization encouraged us to form
Were you part of the Mobi Squad?
Yeah. So
man.
we were called the Sons of Zion Mobi Squad.
Okay.
And that's where we formed the Sons of Zion Band.
So when Reggae Calypso came, where were you?
Oh, we're diverting from...
No, it's just a simple story. Because I know when they came, it was Reggae Calypso. When the guys came from Nigeria.
So we returned in 83.
Yeah.
We were the first wave of returning.
Did you come with a ship?
Yeah, we came with the ship.
Oh, tell me about it. A lot of people have forgotten about it. You see, people are coming from South Africa and they are making so much noise. And I told people that the proper one, I'd forgotten the graphic thing. The picture that came in front of the graphic that day. I just want you to tell people what happened in 83, how it happened.
So after O levels, in 1980, I decided to go to Lagos because I was an adventurous kid, 17 years. So in Lagos, I enjoyed my life there. That was where I met Raskimono. We were all beginners.
Okay.
He used to check me in my house and things. We used to go and hustle and play at a place called Floating Buka. It was like a boat.
Okay.
Like on that upper wharf, and so we're there, and then in 83, Shehu Shagari, the president of the time, decided to retaliate. Buzia had done the aliens compliance order, and so it was payback. So I tell young people that what is happening in South Africa, they are even lucky the government is not doing it. Because Ghana, it was officially the government that drove out the Nigerians. In Nigeria, it was officially the government that drove out Ghanaians.
Yeah.
And in South Africa, fortunately for us, is the citizens and the government is clamping
But
down
they say
on
as for
them.
them, they shouldn't talk. They shouldn't even try.
So back to our return from
Yeah.
Lagos.
Yeah.
Well, then when President Rawlings, what he did is he sent some trucks to the border. But where we were in I was in Lagos City, and the border is Badagry. It's quite a distance.
Yeah.
And Lagos is that's where the Apapa
Commercial capital.
the wharf is and things. That's where the ships come and things. So once we heard that ships had come to dock to take us back home, we all went. And Charlie, that day was a crazy experience. The gangway where people would usually, there was a rush there.
Okay.
So some people were throwing ropes.
Yeah.
So they throw the rope to you and you climb the ship. And then your luggage is also tied and drawn up.
Wow.
We spent 3 nights. Is it 3 days and 2 nights, something like that, on the ship? And me like this, I spent the entire time on deck. So we had biscuits and water and things, and it was a survivor. From there, we came to the trade fair site.
Okay.
Fortunately for me, I live in Labadi.
Oh,
So it was just walk across the street and you're home. And so that was quite a harrowing experience.
We've had it before.
Of course.
Okay, so those people are coming from South Africa.
Oh, these are Latter-day Saints.
So I wanted you to tell them.
Yeah, Latter-day Saints,
And you came with your Omo and ghetto blaster and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we came with all kind of accoutrements, And then, like I was saying, when we came, because of the famine and the general situation, the government had organized through Commodore Bimped, the National Mobilization Organization, and they had encouraged young people to form Mobi Squads, even before we came. So we fit into that program. Okay. There was the Food for Work program at the time. So all these organizations were giving food allocations on a monthly basis. We were doing pineapple farming at the time at Ochikonfo. Pineapple and other crops.
At where?
Ochikonfo. It's near some. It's
Eastern region.
It's Greater Accra actually.
Oh, okay.
But it's on the border.
On the border, okay.
So Katapo. From Pokwase, you go to Mahera, then you go to Katapo, then you go to Ochikonfo. Didiman, then Ochikonfo.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. How did the maths teacher come in?
Yeah, so like I said, we had come back, we were doing the farming and things, and then after a while, I was a city boy before I started farming, so I was drawn to the city. And Labadi is also a city of drivers, a town of drivers, so I got myself a taxi.
Okay. And
then I was driving taxi at the time. So my maths teacher sat in the taxi and, we're riding and he said, Bosco, we speak down. Boss, I know I know a journalist.
Okay.
By that time, to go back to school at that time and things, family responsibilities. So I learned that you can learn journalism, not necessarily go to the school. Okay. So what I started to do was go to British Council. At that time, the British Council had a library. And they had great books on journalism. That's why I met one of my friends, Miles. Miles is in, I think, Takrady now.
Okay.
Miles was a librarian at that time.
Oh, okay.
We stayed in touch since then. So Miles, he knows the kind of books I want, journalism books. So when I come, they assist, And so I've actually read all the books on journalism and communication at British Council Library. And then at that time, the Americans also had the Martin Luther King Library. They've closed it down. They closed it down before Trump. So it's not Trump's story.
I haven't mentioned it.
It was part of their strategy. I don't know why. Okay. But they had great books too. Yeah. So I devoured all these books there. Fortunately for me at that time too, Cabral Blay Amihir was the GIG president. And I think Cabral appreciated the need for continuous professional development. So they were running a lot of training programs at GJA. And fortunately, they registered me.
Okay.
Because I started, and fortunately for me, because I had a musician background, like I told you, I formed the Sons of Zion, so I virtually knew a lot of the musicians, and they warmed up to me. So I could get interviews, I could cover events. So I was writing for the Chronicle, and that was my ticket to joining the GJA.
I was even asking, how did you get your first publication in the Chronicle?
How did I? from my readings
Well,
and things, I realized that there's
Kofi
something called freelance journalism.
Okay.
And they will take your story if your story is good, well written, and is like an exclusive. If it's not exclusive, if it's a good story, they will take it. So, and at that time, Chronicle was the biggest paper.
You know.
And then there was Ghana Life.
Okay.
And there was Horizon. These two are
I'm
defunct.
wondering why you didn't start with PMP or something.
I know for PMP too, So what I did is I just matched at that time. Jordan was the editor of PMP. So I'd do my story and take it up there. So I went to Chronicle one day, and fortunately for me, there was a nice gentleman. What's his name? He's dead. He's passed.
Exactly.
He was the editor before Kobiando became the editor. So I think the guy, because in those days, Rastas wearing plenty.
Yeah.
So
stand out.
a precocious young boy come and say he's a journalist. And I think I wrote quite well. I'm not blowing my horn.
Bro, for that. Okay.
So Amuakwa, the man's name is Amuakwa something. Yeah, so he took the stories, and that was at the time Augustine. This guy, he became the best investigative journalist. I think he's now a lawyer. A lot of the guys, at that time, Prof. Gajipo was writing her column. Sichiado was writing his column.
Politics. PAV.
That's right. So they took my things and they would feature them. And I was sharing the page with Pa John. Betty. So Betty will write this week, I'll write the next week. Okay. And then they came up with the Weekend Chronicle. Yeah. Which was like a lifestyle.
That fitted your style.
More what you call it, And so having done Chronicle, if I come to you at Ghana Life and I say this thing,
Chronicle
so that gave me some credibility. And so I did a lot of arts and culture writing at the time. And I that's how I found out about I think in 1996 Rawlings decided to liberalize the airwaves, so they gave licenses to some radio and TV stations. And these guys were meeting at this guy is dead now. He came from America, and Coco Mlemle, he had a big video place. Okay. I've got his name. If you check, you might know. Okay. So that was where they were meeting. Okay. Every week. So, and entertainment journey. So you have to go there for stories. Then, I'm checking who. That's why I saw Big J. Atlantis. Yeah. Nice guy. And then I saw George Broom. George Broom was dressed in jeans up and down, young guy. So I went up to him and I said, Charlie, I want to do. So we struck up. Yeah. And one day George told me to bring a demo. He was then running Groove Records in his place at Cantonments, near Kukubaku's place. So it was there one day. So to do the demo, I went to, in those days I was, the spinners. Yeah. So while I was in Lagos, I would always come back holidays to Ghana and play with the spinners. Big Ben, I've forgotten some of their names, the big boys in the body who are sounds, So I went to one of my guys, and then I told him, Charlie, I can never feel demo. So I told him what I wanted to do. He assisted me. He did the recording, like 20 minutes or so. I took it cassette. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Cassette,
yeah, man. So we had the chrome cassette, the metal, the normal, the 90C90,
and the 60 and the 45. So then I took it to George. He listened and he said, "Are you the guy talking on the thing?" I said, "Yes." If you are that guy there, then you have a job. The rest, like they say, is history. We started Groove FM in 97. I was powering with Culture B. So me and Culture will do, I think, Tuesday and Thursday. Then I'll do, I think, Friday alone. And then Culture will do Sunday alone. And then I'll do Bibini Hour with Faisal Helwani from 12 to 1. Faisal bought airtime and he was playing his records. At that time, he had released Onipania and all those things. So we'll do
a copy and
for an hour, you know. So that's how I got into media. Let me say media.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was such a great time. And then, as we are talking about history, so Groove started grooving. I mean, those were the guys in town. Groove and Vibe were the places to be in town. Then all of us, I don't know where the metamorphosis started from Groove to Adom.
So what
Joy and Campis had come, and then let's talk about Adom.
What happened is that Joy FM came on the scene. I think they were the first private station after Tarzan, Rico Grove's exercise. So Joy was doing quite well. Radio Gold came, they were also cranking. We and Vibe were competing for the youthful side of the market. Then came Top Radio, and then the biggest disruption, Peace FM.
Peace FM,
I know the guys are multimedia, because and these guys, they're very strategic, very far-sighted. So they realized that the dynamics were changing, and mass radio was the way to go. So strategically, they bought Groove FM. Groove was then at Kukuwili in Osu and relocated the station to Tema, because Tema didn't have a station at the time. So Groove was changed to Adom 106.3 instead of Groove 106.3. The format was changed entirely. Groove, like I said, was more like an R&B, hip-hop, young people station, hip life and things. Adom became a mass market station, lots of high life, hip life, local language programming and things. And I think Adom made quite an impact, because within 5 years of establishment, Peace FM was then the out-and-out market leader, but within 5 years, the nation started to pay attention. And I think Adom was
something. When I think about some of the things you did at Adom, and the kind of personnel you had at that time, you virtually molded almost everybody. I knew some people were not radio material. Let me put it well. But you turned them into fine wine.
So what it is Adom was a very exciting period of my life. In 2000, Kwesi Chumdem sent me to US, and that's one of the things I give them credit for. They equip their people to succeed. So 2000, I went to the States for the first time, to the National Association of Broadcasters, NAB, and then it was a big revelation to me, because then I saw how they did radio in America, where syndication was like the order of the day, and the way they built their talent and all those things. So it was a very good learning experience for me. I came back, and I thought, Charlie, let's implement some of these things.
Something so.
And so that accounted for a lot of the crazy ideas, the promotions, the Tema Fest, the Kwawu, and it was an exciting period. And one of the things that I loved during that time was discovering talent. I clearly remember Ifya Pokia. Pokia at that time was a court correspondent, and she was writing for PNP, court stories for PNP, and putting some on GNA. And she used to hang out with Moses Daute, platoon commander at the GNA office in Tema. And so when we started, from time to time, Moses would bring some stories written by Pokia. I hadn't met her before, but then Moses had a funeral, either his father or his mother, and went to their hometown. That was the first time I saw Pokia. And I think she was 24 at the time. And she was in charge of the food and sharing. And the way this young girl was commanding this, coupled with my knowledge that she could write chord and things. So I told Moses to tell her that if she wants to work in radio, Monday she should come to Adom.
Wow.
Lo and behold, she came. And like they say, the rest is history. I mean, me and Pokia, we used to fight, because Pokia is a very tough lady. She has a good idea of what she wanted, and I also had an idea of how I wanted the station to sound and how they had to do the things. So we had lots of arguments and things, but in the end, the exciting thing is that people listen to logic and reason, and when they get to understand, oh, this is why you want them to do this way, and what the personal benefit is to them, they come on board.
Now they call her the Vim lady.
I tell you, man. Very powerful.
There were a lot of people, Duncan, Abeku Santana,
The story of Abeku is a very exciting one. Like I told you, multimedia, they do a lot of heavy lifting, thinking, analysis, and things. So, yes, we're giving peace a run for its money. We're doing promotions. The buzz was on. People were knowing Adum FM. But the key day parts, morning, drive, and then the news, we realized that they were still giving us a So we did an analysis of their persons. Kwame was sitting on the morning. Kwame was pretty comfortable. We realized that to dislodge Kwame would be tough. Now, I'm a student of The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And so...
Unfortunately, I don't see them on the table.
I got them at home.
Okay.
So what it is we realized that we could hit them at like one of their softest spots, which was the drive. And credits to Fifi Manson.
The dynamite.
But I realized that he was doing more entertainment.
Yeah.
Realized that we could hit them there. So we decided, let's find somebody who is exciting, entertaining, knowledgeable, and things like that. And then Cox Tamaklo said he knows just the guy. He said he knows some guy who is on Mercury. And the guy is exactly what we want, based on the person description we had done. But Abeku came.
It was at Ashefem.
Good. Ashefem at the time. Abeku came, Charlie. And the exciting thing is, I think this guy was starting at 4, and we decided to start at 3. And Abeku started with gospel. So he locked the markets.
Yeah.
And by 4, when Fifi would come, we had the space. Another thing, we realized that Fifi was doing certain things that was, his humor and thing. And that's one of the things that led to Chin Kuma at 5:30. You understand? So, we're quite innovative. We're thinking a lot.
Segments were dangerous.
Charlie. Those were some real exciting. And then at Akabre, we heard that there is this lawyer who had come from London, and he was on a station.
Good News.
Star Cry. And Good News was our affiliate.
Yeah.
They were picking our things. So, we had a conversation. At that time, Kwabena Kwache, they were doing the morning.
Yeah.
So we brought Adakabre on board. And what excited me about Adakabre was his depth. Adakabre had done immigration law in the UK. So governance and history of Ghana was like at his fingertips. Charlie.
Inquisitorial question.
And what I liked about Adakabre is all you needed to do is give him a game plan. That Charlie, you see what Kwame is doing. Those are exciting times. Those are very exciting times, yeah.
It caused a lot of ripples on the market. I mean, from where I sat and from what I learned. And then the events.
So, like I told you, coming from America, where in those days, the biggest station in the US was Clear Channel. And Clear Channel was not just doing radio. They were into events and things. They were big. Musicians would go to them and say, Charlie, I'm releasing an album. Can we cut a deal? So those were things we did. Guys like Samini, they had the Cocovelli, AK Fosu, all those young boys, Reggie Zippy, all those guys. They were coming up. So what I would do is cut a deal with you, Charlie, release Brinkham. We got shows, and because we wanted to push the message of Adum, we were using a lot of music, event shows. And so once we come to your community and we bring you a star,
why not?
And that's one of the ways that helped Adom, those partnerships with the musicians. Great experience.
And
Kasahari was another crazy innovation that we brought. Like I said, at that time, hip life was coming up. So Friday nights, Dr. Duncan. And if you come to the station from 8 o'clock, the boys are lining up.
Ah, man.
And that's where Stone Boy, Sarko there. I remember one day I asked Duncan, you, are you why every day this boy is eating
brothers.
Yeah. So I believe that if the history of the music business in Ghana is written, Adom FM would have contributed phenomenally, not just to the development of talent, but to the evolution of events. Because apart from Temafest was an idea I borrowed from Vibe. Vibe used to do the Vibrant Street Carnival in Osu. So I went to Tema. We're like, Charlie, let's do something for the Tema people. Some great minds will tell you that you steal ideas, you just don't copy. So we just stole that idea, replicated it, and it was a huge success.
Because we're doing it at around Felisa, before we decided to do it bigger.
That's right. There used to be some space near Club Felisa.
In between that.
Then the thing got bigger than that space.
There we did Kou too. You did Kou from Fridays only to Ata.
I tell you, right to Monday. Those were some. And what I like is the team too was energetic and exciting. Kudos to a guy like Odini who coined the Kwawu phrase. Because we were there one day, he said we wanted the jingle. I know Davies at that time had moved Davies from being a music presenter to a sports presenter. Because in those days,
I went Swansea. His name has to be.
He's also in the States.
Yeah, his name has to be in the sports. So Swansea's fight with the
So what it is I hired Swansea because of his father. His father was something a Suman, one of the graphic sports reporters.
Okay.
So when he came and he said his father is this,
straight.
I saw the name and I asked him. I said, then it's in your blood. If your father is graphic photojournalist, then you want to do sports cap. And the way Swansea used to argue with Odinu was doing music programming at the time in the corridor. Then one day I called Odinu and I said, Charlie, these your arguments, move from call radio. So.
Oh, okay.
And that's how come Odinu was like doing sports. And from, the sports background, that's where the Kwawu thing, he coined it. And till this day, he's still a clarion call.
So what's the thing with Swansea and Alhaji Brusa?
So what it is because Swansea was a sports journalist, and Alhaji Grusa at that time was, I think, arguably the most controversial club owner. So I mean, I think you have to do a Zoom interview with Swansea and the guys because they're all in the States now.
We'll do that. So right here on the conversation, my name is Paa Kofi, with the man himself. And this one has been a programs manager for close to over 15 years, now a general manager. We will talk about his musical background. He sings, we'll come to that. And he's now telling us about his journeys from Labadi to Lagos to a retaining. I don't know whether it was a deportee or retaining, but we'll just find out. I came and told us about the story. The one about South Africa is just a minute thing. Bigger things happen. He still does everything. His days with the Chronicle, how he went to Groove at Adom FM, and now we stay in Adom FM with events. We've talked about things. But the man doesn't speak tree. But he was a programs manager. How did he manage to do it? A lot of people got memos. Hey, could you please explain why disciplinary action should not be taken against you for the use of unbridled Queen's language? Please explain.
Yeah, so what it is people don't know my father. My father's mother is Akan.
Okay.
From Ofinso.
Okay.
Ashanti. So as a child, my father sometimes would either speak Ashanti tree with me or Adan.
Okay.
So, I had I could understand some, what you call it. And you see, Tree is an unofficial lingua franca in Ghana.
Yeah.
So you may not understand it in total,
Right.
but you can get an idea of what's being said. And programming, what you call it, Aduma at the time, for example, news is written in English,
But delivered in Tree.
so you have an idea what the story is saying. And so if the person is going off track, and also certain phrases, certain diction and things like that. So you could, and I clearly remember when we started doing the news, I'd be standing in the production annex in my paper and making my notes, like how the football coaches make their notes. And then after, we'll have an engagement. And I believe those were some of the things that helped people shape up quickly. I clearly remember those days after the Cabrera show, he'd come to my office, because I have my radio and I'm monitoring, making the notes and give feedback and things like that. Same with Santana and things. And I thank God Santana still calls me one of his greatest coaches, because coaching is something I like doing. Giving people feedback, making suggestions, and putting ideas in their heads,
Okay, so at least you had an idea of how, but your memos were more ahead.
and the interesting thing is, recently there's a guy I work here with at Auto FM who I used to work with at Adum, and he was telling me that, hey Charlie, these days it be like you cool down, and I was telling him that, you see, as you grow, as you mature, you realize that there are many ways to kill a cat. When you're younger, you resort to official power, because you're like young boys, this. So your tendency to use official power is higher. But as you grow and you mature, you realize that there are more ways to lead people, to get them to do things you want them to do willingly without resorting to official power, which becomes like a last resort. So I think
But
it's experience.
coming to you, I thought, I don't know, some people thought you had military background because some of the things you did, like I heard there was a time that you decided that no more CDs, and then you said, okay, you've given them 3 or 4 days. By this time, there will be no more CDs. People won't be playing CDs anymore because there could be scratches on it and all that. By following Monday, when they came, the CD player was even not in the studio. So you had to go and either sleep overnight in the studio and learn or not. I mean, why?
So, like I was telling you, I'd been to America and I'd seen how things were done. In the States, the music played on the station is approved by the head of music, the music director. And he helps control the sound of the station. That is one. So I've been toying with that idea. And then two, you realize that certain people got certain CDs that were scratched, that either the quality was not the best, or even the song doesn't deserve to be on radio. So I said, look, let's streamline this thing. And I went to school in Birmingham.
Oh,
As a young boy growing up, I was fascinated by the army. There were 2 professions that excited me as a child: a Roman Catholic father, because I grew up in the Roman church, or soldier, because I went to Birmingham. And so I loved guys like a Chiampong with their discipline and so I had that thing. And then there's both parents. My father was a head teacher, and my mother was a headmistress.
okay.
So discipline, like when we say do this, you don't do, is in my DNA. So those are some of the reasons. The other day, one of the guys was telling me, I used to tell him, cut it. And when I say cut it,
Cut it.
because sometimes presenters over talk. People love the sound of their voices.
Especially when they are wearing headsets.
So we used to be pretty firm with discipline.
And then people will be talking and we take the microphone from them.
You see, that's why I'm saying that I was younger. My understanding of authority was different, and then a lot of times I figured I needed to use that authority to correct people.
Okay, I think it did show. I mean, some of the people would testify that at least I shaped them up to today, what they are doing today. Let's talk about when you moved from Tema to Accra,
Yeah.
at a point you went to Hit FM. From multimedia is a bigger fan base, so you have to go and do programs at Hit FM too. Now from a predominantly Akan station, a couple of Okra in your memo, there you go to Hit FM, bigger now. You have to speak. Our president will say, press. How did it go?
Yeah, so there were a few issues with what you call it. Kwabeku had left what you call it. And I believe a lot of the guys felt I was responsible for his resigning from Adum. And so I was transferred to Hits FM. And
why would you be responsible?
well, that's another story.
Okay.
That's another conversation, you know. So then I went to Hits. Also, largely because of my music background, you know, because before my media days, I was playing music as a musician and as a DJ. So I went to Hits FM with the responsibility of programming hits and the music and entertainment component of Joy FM.
Yeah.
And I think I did that for 2 years. Now, around that time, remember I told you that at Doom we're doing a lot of activations with musicians, and Obuo happened to be one of the guys who were done stuff with. He knew me, he knew my background as a marketer. And so Obuo had become the president of Musica, and they had worked out and they got in 2 million CDs from the government. And around that time, I think I was on my way out from Hits.
Oh, okay.
He heard it and he called me. He let Ochiapmi Kwame call me. That Charlie, this Obuo wants you to come in. And so I met Obuo, we had a conversation. Obuo is somebody I like and I respect already from his music base. I like young people who are focused. Why do I say he was focused? He knew he wanted to do music, but he knew he needed education too. And I respected that about him tons. So when he invited me, I said, great. And at that time, I'd been using my marketing knowledge as a programmer.
You haven't even told people about your certificate in
Obuo had this idea that he wanted to rebrand Musica. So for me, it was a huge case study to use my marketing skills. What led me into marketing is, I told you that I returned from the States. Then in 2005, I went back to the States to do the PD grad school. Danode. So when I came back, I realized that to program effectively, you needed to understand research. And at that time, we had a marketer called Eric Suman, who was doing a course in marketing. And I liked Eric. So I followed him to his school one day. And I liked one of his teachers, guys called Bobby. Bobby was working at IRS. Nice young man. A young man teaching. So I fell in love, and then I registered and I did my CIM UK, Chai Institute of Marketing. And then I became a chartered marketer and things like that. So I have this marketing background. So when Obuo invited, I believe it was a great opportunity to exercise my marketing knowledge. And I believe we did some exciting work in both 10 years of Obuo's
So what was your position at Musica? Has it changed?
So when I went initially, I was the administrator.
Okay.
And then after 2 years, Kojoenchi wanted to do Breeze FM. And I had done a magazine project with Kojoenchi during my journalism days at Chronicle. It was called Rockers. It was a one edition. So we had a relationship.
Okay.
So he called me, we went.
90.9?
I felt it was an exciting challenge to build something. So I think I was there for like 2 years, but along the line, we diverted from entertainment to politics because we were going into the 2016 elections.
Okay.
So we invited one of my guys called Bobie. And so that changed the outlook of the station.
Maybe to add a multimedia thing.
And so once I started spending a lot of time at the station, me, Obuo, and Fifi was then the director of special projects.
Okay.
We decided that me and Fifi should switch roles. I should do special projects and communications. So Fifi does the day-to-day administration. And so that's what we did.
Oh, okay.
And then Fifi unfortunately passed
Left
in, I think, 2018.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. And then, so that's how we've been doing.
So you see the man now is going to Breeze FM to Breeze Day. Let's talk about music, guy. You've done a lot of things recently. I mean, things are changing. Oh, let me come to you. Recently, the United Nations, there was something on Highlife. Now they recognize it as an. Now Highlife, everybody talks about Highlife. They know it's Ghana. Before then, I heard people talking about Nigerians says this, Kenyans wanted to claim it. Now UN says, hey, though we started recording in 1928, courtesy by grandfathers in Sopol and Cape Coast, who had formed Ashanti Trio. Now Ghana, you own Highlife. What does it mean to Ghana?
So it means a lot, but I need to tell the story.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman called Abdurrahman Diallo.
Yeah.
He was then head of UNESCO in Ghana.
Is he gone?
Yeah, Diallo is now
okay.
in charge of UNESCO in Abuja.
Oh, okay.
So, and Diallo had been in Congo when they started application for the inscription of Rumba.
Rumba, okay.
So when Diallo came and he met me and realized I work with the union and things, he started asking, but you people, won't you work for the inscription of Highlife? Yeah. Then he told me his role in putting together the application for Congo and things like that. And he kept, first time he said it, then he said, well, just like in Jamaica, they have reggae and things. So then he told Besatu the same thing. And I think they gave me a link to the application.
Okay.
So at that time, Mark Okreku Mante was the Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. And Mark, because of his music background, I knew Mark before he became, when I was on Groove FM,
Music Paradise
Mark was at Joy FM.
Yeah.
I think he was the youngest presenter at the time. So I engaged Mark and I told him, Charlie, this is what it is and we can do this. And so we started the process. Then the UNESCO people said that it is Folklore Board, that is the state agency that is mandated to do that. Okay. And at that time, Diallo said they had given Folklore some money to do some project and it was left with some balance. And UNESCO, their accounting period ends March. So if they've given you some money and by March then you have to bring the money back. And at that time, Musica too, we had done a COVID-19 program with the Ministry of Information support and some UNESCO support. So there was a balance. We did that thing with, I think, National Commission called some. So there was that balance.
Cash day.
So then they advised us that, look, guys, the two of you and UNESCO, you can get together and start the process.
Okay.
So that's when we did the first Highlife conference, where we invited Ambule, Akable, Manziba. We invited all the practitioners. Then we invited some of the youngsters like Kofi, them weren't available. It was this boy,
Dadafko. Oh.
You represented.
Okay.
And so we had that conversation. And then from that conversation, we formed committees.
Okay.
And at that time, Auntie Bernice itself was her last name. But Bernice was the executive director of the Folklore Board. So we worked closely with her. We helped her put together the team.
Folklore Board and music are coming together. Okay.
It was actually Ghana Culture Forum, not Musica.
Ghana Culture Forum. Okay.
Culture Forum had done some work and we had some balance.
Oh, okay.
So that conference was organized by Culture Forum and Folklore Board. But Musica is one of the biggest members of Forum. So we virtually led that aspect because it was music. And then after that, a committee was put together. Dosunu at the University of Ghana, John Collins, Prof, the late Dr. Kobna Kwesiobusu, Creative Storm, a few of them. Then they put together the document, heavily assisted by a young lady called Liz Afari or so.
Okay.
Elizabeth, she works at the folklore board. She
Okay.
was like Auntie Bernice's assistant.
Okay, she will understand.
So she did all the secretarial work, they put everything together. Then they brought, first they went to do some Sakabo video. Then later they brought George Busumpin in to help shape it up and thing. And those were the documents that were submitted to UNESCO that led to the listment of Highlife.
What does it mean for Ghana? Because when it came, I expected some bigger thing to happen. Personally, unfortunately, I thought that was hashtags and everything. It seems the euphoria had died down. I expected something bigger, unless I have too great an expectation. So, but from where I sit.
So what it is there's the need for Ghana as a state to appreciate the contribution that the arts can make to the nation. For example, some of the things that can be done in Jamaica, they have a national reggae song festival to celebrate the genre.
Yeah.
Those are the things we need to do. Or if you have a national song contest, young musicians will be forced to aspire to that. And then, apart from the national one, you can have regional festivals. You see, if the state appreciates that art is a big draw, then these regional Highlife festivals, then from there you come to Highlife museums. Ejako Nimo's place in Kumasi should become a national heritage. I remember when I went to Jamaica, I went to Bob Marley's studio, Top Gong. I paid money. I went to Trench Town. They showed me some room, and they told me this is the room he wrote the
Trench Town Rock or something.
To even go into that yard,
you have to pay.
This is revenue. This is job creation. So the listment of Highlife offers huge opportunities to create jobs, to create revenues, and also instill national pride.
Thank you.
And the Musicians Union of Ghana, where a few ideas were putting together. We're working with the Folklore Board, the Creative Arts Agency, the Ghana Tourism Authority, and a few other institutions to put together the first ever National Highlife Festival in October. Then there are other things the union is planning with some partners, like a Highlife to the World Tour, where we're looking at taking Highlife globally. And we're hoping to do 2 or 3 shows before October. And the message for those tours is to show the people to come to Ghana to participate in these national festivals.
Quite interesting one. I think you need to meet you. I met somebody, Mr. Santi. He wants to do a Highlife pub. They said we come, there's a jazz club and everything. He wants to do a Highlife, only Highlife that would be. As somebody who is into music, were you worried about the future of Highlife? Because we seems to have...
No, never. I was never worried about the future.
Ambulance said is the roots. I have never, so many branches.
Never worried about the future of Highlife because I witnessed the various transformations Highlife went through. From the days of the lights of... That's a guy who wants to do an interview.
Okay.
From the days when... or from when we grew up to hear the sounds of E.T. Mensah, to seeing Nana Mpedu, to seeing people like C.K. Man, Young Sindem, A.B. Krenzel. I remember a wonderful time I had with A.B. in 2015 in the U.S. At that time, A.B. was sort of incapacitated. So I was his back boy, with Dinechi. When he's going to play, I push the chair. I mean, we had a great relationship. He used to tell me stories. Then there's a certain story he told me. And so when I see him, I say, suddenly. Suddenly.
That one was a great one.
Yeah. But long and short, I think Ghana as a nation should look at how we can institutionalize some of these things. For example, this Highlife club, you said the guy said, there are reggae clubs, there are jazz clubs. People need to know that they can do Highlife clubs, and when they start playing, it can be so interesting. Because like I was saying, we saw from listening to E.T. Mensah right through Ampedu and Osei Kofi and all those
The
people
changes.
coming through to Papa Young, sing them, those so they thing that came in right through to the likes of George Daku, them added a certain flair and they call it Burger High Life. To those people like Amachi Dede who were playing reggae but they were calling it High Life. So there's so much
This matter you have
diversity
raised.
in High Life that if you play High Life Club and you have correct selectors, there can be like a cools night where you're playing some of the ballads by Kojo Entry Acquire them and things. Then you can have like a hip life night because hip life is a child of High Life. So you can have music programmed in such a way that every night people come to your place is jamming. You know, these things are possibilities.
By issue is the other general of High Life. When I sit back, this week I had a chat with Osei Crunchy of Legon. We talk about Seprewa and others. I sat down with Koni Mo the other time and I was thinking how many of our young people are playing the acoustic, the palm wine music, the way it should be played.
So what it is if you look at what Dr. Eric Dosunu is doing on campus at Legon, Dosunu's thesis is on High Life and he's walking the talk. So he's put together a group of young people and they're playing palm wine band. Another cat who is doing very well is Kwampa. These are young guys who are playing palm wine High Life. And they have the ability to fuse it with the big band sound too. And then you have the young boys like Kofi Kinata who is playing a certain type of big band, although without the predominance of the horns. You know. So for me, High Life is not dying; it is undergoing an evolution. If you check the trajectory or the development phases of reggae music from the 60s, when Bob Marley them were playing and Studio One was recording, to the 70s when Bob Marley was still playing and recording, but with Island. So they were trying to do a more global sound. I believe High Life is going through those phases and will be able to, if you look at some of the stuff that Rocky Dawoodi is doing, some of his High Life songs, you realize that this is High Life, but you hear a certain global feel in
because he's even his remake of Chen Chen Biedime was there. Like, hey,
Mr. Simons will tell you that most Afrobeat songs are High Life minus the guitar. So I'm very optimistic about the future of High Life.
Did we miss the chance? Because I remember when Azonto came, we were virtually taking over. Then we lost it. We said Al Qaeda or something. Do we destroy ourselves?
So one of the things is and that is where you will expect agencies like the Creative Arts Agency, which is anyway relatively new, to be doing some of these things where they're monitoring trends in the business and then optimizing the trends. Because Azonto is a Ghanaian thing, but somebody like Chris Brown attributed it to Nigeria. It shows we are not optimizing the opportunities that come our way. We're not doing them well enough here.
So Obama and things dancing Azonto. I thought we were there. We missed that great chance. We say Al Qaeda and something. Now what is it I say Afro? Even the one that we sing, they sing High Life, then say Afrobeat. I was talking to Kofi Electric. He was a drummer for Marijata. Last week we spoke about what we did. You know, he spoke about his contribution to the Paul Simon album. He spoke about his song. He himself, Bob Fishing, and then Nat Osmanu. They had a song that has been redone by Santana, Carlos Santana.
And people don't know these things.
Yeah, I'm like, people started this, they were the kind of thing they were international in the 70s. And we thought we are doing well. We are coming down. And truth to be told, if at that time, 70s, they are doing songs that now Carlos Santana and others are picking. Look at what Paul Simon came to do to High Life. High Life, the level I expected us to.
So what it is we don't seem to appreciate our own. We love copying from the West. Meanwhile, people like Ebotela demonstrated the quality of our rhythms, where Black Eyed Pea, Asha, you name them, they all sample a sound. So a lot of times I imagine what will happen if our musicians decide that, just like the Americans do, they do a lot of retro, they're going into the old rhythm and blues sounds and working with them and things. I think down the road, those are some of the things that young people have to. And let me say this, Professor Linus, the former rector of NAFTI, actually said that the bane is that, you see, when we were younger and we were going to school, we were taught music. So me, I know do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, from my school, from my childhood.
And the what clef?
So it did inside my DNA. Yeah. And then we're giving music lessons. I remember at Birmingham Primary, we were all giving flutes to play.
So before Papa don't have to.
So Papa used to come to the school. His friend was, I think, KK Wua, who was, whether KK was headmaster or senior this thing. And you know, Birmingham Primary, soldier people school, so they did a lot of creative stuff. And Papa used to come there and teach. So what I'm saying is that, according to Professor Linus, the absence of people being taught the rudiments of music at a certain early age affects their creativity. So he called a lot of the music we create here as cottage music and won't cross border.
Okay.
And that's why you're saying Kofi Electric, their creations are being appreciated even now. Because these were people who composed using the rudiments. And so the music was correct.
When I sit back, my little engagement I've had with the bigger musicians, Fela came here, right? And he had met Uncle Ebo in London when they went to London School of Music together. I mean, they were like. Then Hugh Masekela, when he was born, he came here. Almost all the big guys tend to come here and come and pick something from here. And then we
don't appreciate what we got. That's the simple problem. And it's time we need to showcase what we have. We need to encourage the young people to know that what we have is worth being appreciated, and that what we have is. So you see, a lot of people don't know that all the music in the world emanated from Africa. The drums, or the drum rhythms, not the drums themselves, the drum rhythms crossed the oceans and then came back in various music forms. So if you want the authenticity, the depth, the original, this is where it's at.
Let me put something from music before we say bye-bye to you. I know you've done a lot of innovations. There's something that you are doing. There's something, talk about them so for people to appreciate what music is doing for music industry.
So what it is She Rhythms is an idea brought by the president, Mr. Simons, to celebrate women in the arts, specifically in music. So the concept is to have a 2-day festival that includes workshops, seminars, and musical performances. So what we've done is we've put out a call for musicians from around the world and Ghana as well. And there will be a team to do the screening, and then the ones who pass will be invited. And then we'll have, last year we had, Dinah Hopeson doing a great session with us. And this year we're hoping to get, equally exciting female personalities to do seminars and workshops. And then we'll have the music concerts at Alliance Francaise.
Okay, beautiful. Are you doing something for the old musicians, the aged ones?
So we have the Aging Musicians Welfare Fund, with something that was originated by Obo during his tenure as president of the union. And it involves raising funds and then supporting the aging musicians. Ampedu was A.B. Crensel was the first chairman, then Ampedu was the second chairman, and currently the chairperson is the woman, Asabia Cropper. In the past, we used to do grand ball, annual musical galas, where the sitting president will come and grace the occasion. We'll do some auctions, raise funds, and those funds will be given to the but over the 4 years that music was in the wilderness, court cases
Yeah.
and things, that stopped. 2 years ago, the new regime came into office and was still exploring the possibility of having it this year. Because to have the grand ball, you want the president to be there. So usually it needs to fit into his diary.
Okay.
And so that's what we're waiting for. Hopefully by sometime next week, we'll have word whether the president will be available. Then we can break communication.
I'd like to say a big thank you to Daddy B for his time, but before we go, he taught us all of that. He has to tell us, as a young musician, as a budding musician, what you need to do, what you need to gain from music. And then he said somewhere that he hopes the next billionaire or millionaire will be from the creative sector. Up to him.
Yeah, so what it is the Musicians Union was established originally in the 60s by the likes of E.T. Mensah, but it was deemed political because, the early 60s was in Nkrumah, and E.T. and co were patriots who had traveled in Nkrumah to propagate the message of high life. So 66 came and it went under. And then for nearly 8 years, there was no union until 1974, when the likes of Sami Odo, Faisal Helwani, who was a music promoter and financier, Stan Plant, Nana Kwame Nampedu, Professor John Collins and co. decided that they needed to take their destiny into their own hands. And there was this agitation which led to the formation and registration of the union in 1975. So since that time, the Musicians Union of Ghana has advocated for the welfare of musicians, engaged with policymakers and things. It's not been smooth running. It's been a checkered history. However, currently what we've done is we've established a musicians insurance scheme where, as a member of the union, all you pay is 100 cedis. That's your premium for the year. And then if you're incapacitated, let's say you are admitted to hospital for days, the insurance gives you some money. If you cannot work again, the insurance will give you some money. If there is death, either you or your spouse, you get some benefits. We've also partnered with Stallion to roll out a pension scheme. You'll appreciate that musicians work in the informal sector where there's hardly any pension. So we're encouraging musicians to sign on to the Stallion pension scheme where you pay 100 cedis a month. It's your pension. It's towards your future. We're encouraging young musicians especially to sign on because I can mention names, I'll not mention names. Musicians who were big, who had property, who had assets, who today have nothing. Because you see, after you stop performing and your revenues are not coming, you have to fall back on your assets till the assets finish. If you've done a pension scheme, if right now, let's say you're 25, that means you have at least 35 more years in the business and you're doing this pension. By the time you get to that age, the amount of money that will be waiting for you will be awesome. I know a lot of musicians, a lot of people in the creatives who didn't get this advice when they started. So that is why Musica is doing these things for you, the young musicians. Now, as to generating wealth in the creatives, I mean, it's happening. I remember when Amayal Deborah left school, I was then on the GMA board. He used to come and cover this thing with his one camera. Right now, Amayal Deborah is running a media empire. He's employing people. My boy got money. I can mention names of people who are working in the space. I mean, I know Shadawale. I remember my last encounter with Wale. I was going to Musica. And Wale is a down-to-earth guy. In those days, he used to go to Nima and things. And then I was driving, and I heard Daddy Bosco. And that was Wale down there. Wale's been able to leverage his brand Now Wale is a millionaire. So the creative space offers opportunities for people to make money more exponentially than many other professions. Thank you very much.
All right. That's all for today. My name is Paa Kofi. Thank you, Daddy Bosco. We'll be right back.